It's alive! It's alive!
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. How are you doing? Thank you for clicking on this. So, I reached out to Plarium as promised to you guys after the infamous AMA. Now, there was, I would say, maybe like a 90% negative reaction to the AMA. The goal here in this channel is to always kind of go below a layer or two, right? We're trying to kind of cancel out all the chatter and all the rage, the frustration, the praise, the sucking up, all of that stuff, and really getting to the root of these issues and having like a dialogue to where you watch the video and you come out the other end at least feeling like you have some new opinions or ideas, not just like stressing out or raging or mad or really euphorically happy for no reason. Anyway, disclaimer out of the way. Let's go ahead and go back to, because I reached out to Plarium. I got some clarity behind the whole dupe thing. Not a ton of clarity. I'm not clickbaiting you guys, but I did get the response on kind of the community reaction to their response in their recent AMA. So let's first go over their response here to set the table here. Alright guys, so Dupe here put the new info, or the old info from the AMA on the dupe system here in this thread. I want to focus on this thread, so shout out to Dupe, giving credit where credit is due. All of the resources used in today's video, as with all my videos, will be linked in the show notes below. So the thing that got people all excited, all upset, right, and we made a video talking about this as well, talking about the potential downside of doing this, is without reading this verbatim, you guys can read it on the screen, pause if you want to, but essentially she said after a long period of thought and sandbox testing and a bunch of other stuff, they're still on target to come out this fall with a dupe system. We expect the solution to come out this fall. They reaffirmed that in a second. You'll see what they sent me today in Discord. But essentially they said we contemplated two main solutions, either tweaking drop rates or making dupes more valuable by utilizing them for strengthening champions, okay? So that's all the hate, the anger, the whatever, the anxiety, everything, the frustration is the best word, right? Everything emanated from this half of a sentence. I'm not going to be that guy to overreact to one little thing like this when we don't know the entire system. If indeed the solution from Plarium, after all of this time they spent sandboxing and testing, if indeed the solution is, hey, you got 15 Trundas, just merge them all together for a 15x Super Trunda, right? Listen, the biggest problem in this game is, the biggest problem in my opinion, is not silver, it's not a dupe system, it's not the time issue, it's none of that stuff. I think the biggest issue in this game is creating a mentality where people who are not spending thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, you know, get to a point in this game where they have this moment of revelation where they think, this game's not for me, because I'm never going to be able to compete with those people. I'm never going to be able to compete. Never, ever, ever. Unless I take out a second mortgage on my house, there's no way. So what am I even doing wasting my time playing this game? That's the biggest problem. To further elongate the bridge between free-to-play and pay-to-win, or to be more specific, between big spender whales and non-spenders. If that gap gets too big, then we see a mass exodus from game. I don't think they were there right now, truthfully, because the download numbers, despite what people will tell you, is still really good right now in the game. The game is actually doing pretty well, and the last year especially has seen an uptick in that, so that's all good. However, if we start instituting dupe systems like that, where you can merge 10 Trundas into one another, that would really exacerbate that problem that we just talked about, right? And people would leave the game. People would leave the game. So that's a huge danger. However, personally, I don't think that's what they're going to do. And I know that's not a popular, I think it's kind of like oddly popular on YouTube and content creators to just picture the worst case scenario and run with it to get people all riled up. I just don't think that's the case. I don't think that's what they're going to do. But let me give you their response first before I share what I think they're going to do and then what I think they ought to do. So here's their response. All right, so here's the deal, guys. I sent Banana Jam, the community manager for Raid Shadow Legends, a bunch of questions, and we decided we're going to get on the call to have an official interview to discuss the rest of the stuff. But I wanted to get this information kind of out to you guys because I still see a lot of chat on this on Reddit on a daily basis. So this one I just wanted to share, this answer I wanted to share with you guys immediately. Dupe system, this is my question. How do you respond to the community feedback critical of the feeding one dupe into another to make it more powerful idea? Is it still on track for 2021? There's been a lot of, they go on to say, there's been a lot of different feedback about the concept that we shared during the AMA session. We know the whole dupe system has been circling around for quite a while now, the whole idea. So I think we can totally understand why it is such a reaction. I want to emphasize that our goal is to keep the game exciting and playable, and the dupe system should fit this concept. We've mentioned the current option that we've been working on, but what we've missed, I guess, is that this concept is far from getting the green light, as we see all the possible dangers it could bring. So let's make sure not to jump to conclusions too quickly. There's still time until the dupe system is released, and we're taking this time to work on other ideas as well and to think everything through. Also, I just wanted to say that we've been we've heard a few quite interesting ideas among the feedback from the community that caught our attention, and we're analyzing them as well. As for timeline, we're still trying to stick to the fall possible timeline, but only if we'll be totally sure that the concept we created is worthy. I said, thanks, BJam. So there we go. That's the response. As I said in the beginning of the video, it's nothing like super newsworthy or anything like that. I'm not trying to sell you breaking news here on this video, rather just to discuss a little bit more. What do I think of her response? First of all, I think it was a little bit political, right? Like, meaning that we're taking into account other ideas, blah, blah, blah. Let's not jump to conclusions. That's all fine and well, but when you say that we've kind of narrowed down to an idea, and the idea just says, you know, making dupes more valuable by utilizing them for strengthening champions, a little bit more color would be appreciated, right? And of course, I will push back on this and try to get a little bit more clarity once I interview Banana Jam and Cirilla. However, I think there's a comment here. There's actually some really good, thoughtful comments in this response, right? You know, people concerned, right? Rightfully so. The original poster, I'm sure the average player is going to have a fun time fighting against a 200k HP and 15k defense Krisk in the arena. I think a hard time to think of how this will improve the game in any way and not become a prime reason for people to quit. But I think that what Dilly Doobie, I love the name, is where they might be wrong here, right? In terms of jumping to conclusions, tying it back to, and I hope he's wrong, right? Because if he's right, then I agree 100%. We're all screwed. It's an awful idea. They ought not to even add that to the game. However, we're jumping to a conclusion, if you read the response, that we're talking about merging duplicates together to make the original champion more valuable, right? But what if it's just using duplicates to, like, another way to upgrade any champion, not necessarily the dupe champion, you know? So what I'm trying to say is someone puts it better than I do. This guy right here, actually. So shout out to Marichi. I think the dupe of a champion will be a resource to double ascend the champ, and that the two-headed boss will drop some resources by which we can also get that ascension, but will be harder than just using a dupe for it. So everyone will get a chance to double ascend. Everyone will get a chance to double ascend or something, their champions. However, the whales will be able to do it by dupes, and the free-to-plays will have to grind it out to get to the same level. The concept was introduced in One Piece Treasure Cruise, and it worked well there. You know, a lot of people agree with him. This guy says exactly what I'm thinking. Everybody's up in arms about it. But as long as someone has access to the power, as long as everyone has access to the same power increase, it's not that crazy out of tune. Excuse me. I don't see a problem. Content is getting harder, and there's no way you can squeeze out of champs. And there's only so much you can squeeze out of champs. Sorry about that. All right, so basically, you know, there's a lot of other thoughtful comments here, but I think that's actually spot on. Spot on meaning I think that's what they're thinking of right now. I really do. Because if you go back to the Raid Shadow Legends YouTube video, they said the four-headed monster, the four-handed monster, whatever it was, that monster was going to create a whole new way to upgrade and ascend your champions. So what if dupes just fall into that new feature they're already adding to the game in that new dungeon, you know? That's kind of what I'm thinking. So let me put it in other terms, because we don't know if this is all conjecture, right? This is all conjecture. And you guys can see the feedback here. It's mixed. It's very mixed, right? Literally the worst idea they could have gone. Just give me a reasonable amount of shards for books and I'm good. People spent a lot of money and they're very upset now. You know, so people, the reactions are mixed. Also, some people are, you know, some people are very, where are they? Are very okay on the idea. You know, like this guy, for example, seems like the more we get in Raid in terms of feature updates and new heroes, etc., the more we complain about new things. People relax. Things are happening. Something is better than nothing. Remember, we play this game because it's fun. The game, He also goes on to say, to take a shot at content creators, which I think is funny. I don't see how it can be an excuse to complain all the time. It has to be better than what we had before. It seems like all the videos I watch now on YouTube is some political, I have a dream speech about a different system, or uniting in order to make it easier to prove to ourselves we achieved something pointless. Listen, whether you agree or disagree, it's interesting to get the both sides of any situation, right? And I also wanted to share really quickly another idea here. So people are all over the place regarding like kind of what they're suggesting for a dupe system, right? And I want to throw the question to you guys. I will read all your comments, by the way. So if you have any great dupe ideas that you want me to share in a future video, let me know in the comments below, and make sure you upvote or thumbs up other comments that you agree with. Like the best idea, I'll be sure to run that by Plarium directly. So I want to show you another idea put forth by the community, and then I want to go ahead and give you my idea, and we'll conclude the video. So legendary duplicate system idea. Basically, this guy says, if you have dupes, you trade them in for a legendary skill tome or an increase rate token. These increase rate tokens can stack, so you'll have like a double time, a 3-time, a 4-time, 6-time, 8-time chance at pulling a champion that you choose. So let's put it this way. You pull a double, you know, sticking with Trunda. You pull a double Trunda, or let's just go with Scylla the Dregs. You pull a Scylla the Dregs. You already have her because of the daily login reward. You can exchange her for a 2-time chance or a 5-time chance or a 10-times chance to pull another champion of your choosing. It's not going to increase your drop rates, but it's going to be on there, like on every shard pull until you get that champion. I think that's actually a pretty cool idea, the increased rate token. I personally don't think a legendary skill tome is nearly enough, because at the end of the day, a legendary skill tome can, what, 1/20th upgrade the skills of one legendary champion? I almost think that you get a free booking of a legendary champion if you pull a dupe. Maybe I'm being too greedy now, right? But my idea, guys, just to conclude here, is fragments, right? We already have fragments in the game. I think that there ought to be like a blank fragment, right? A legendary fragment, an epic fragment, a rare fragment, an uncommon, common, whatever, right? And these fragments, you can trade in any champion, whether they're a dupe or not, of that rarity, and get a certain number of those fragments. At which point, you can use these fragments in exchange for any open fragment inside the game at any given time, or any fragment in the history of the game. You could also use these potentially inside kind of the, they could have champions for sale in the bazaar, whatever, right? Or you could just, I mean, the perfect situation, a perfect world, they wouldn't just be on fragment champions. They would also be on, like, you see all the champions we've had. You could use these on any of these champions, provided they are the right rarity, right, in the history of Raid. So, I mean, I think that's why I love the idea of just going fragment-based, right? In a perfect world scenario, you could use these fragments on any champion, right? So you could change in, you know, maybe it takes 100 legendary fragments to get a legendary, and maybe a dupe gives you 25 legendary fragments. Maybe it gives you 50. Maybe it gives you 100. Who knows? So whatever that ratio is, and obviously that's a whole nother conversation, that's my idea, right? Just bring it all into a system that's already in the game in fragments, and make more, you know, interesting champions available vis-a-vis fragment summons. So guys, I'm going to cap this video there. I feel like I've rambled on long enough here. Let me know what your ideas are. Let me know what you think of the Plarium response. Again, nothing super newsworthy there, but me personally, I am cautiously pessimistic. I'm just going to be real with you guys, right? I'm cautiously pessimistic. I really hope that it's not just merging dupe legendaries into dupe legendaries. I think that there's going to be something, more to it than that. Will we like what that is? That remains to be seen. But let's continue to give our feedback, because that's all we can do. Guys, thank you for watching all the way till the end. I appreciate you. And as always, take care, guys.